This video was sponsored by Enhance, Elbilmek, a better road planner, Kempower and bilkomponenter.
Yo, what's up? I'm back in Norway and I start by doing a 500 kilometer challenge. I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is that we can fast charge unlike the Bow Pony we tested before I went to Croatia. The bad news is that I tested today the e-Niro CHAdeMO adapter. This is yes. I tried everything, supercharger V1, V2, V3, V4, Alpitronic, the Tritium, Kempower. I tried everything, it failed to handshake. So unfortunately we cannot use this adapter. There are some native 200 amp CHAdeMO we can test this on. Because actually according to spec, I think Kia claims that this car can take 100 kilowatt on CHAdeMO. So, and look at this. It has done almost 190,000 kilometers. Ooh, I should test some degradation. Well, actually, I could do a degradation test on this run now, this challenge. So yeah, there's a warning here that I can just ignore. The owner says that there's just some weird warning based on some kind of pump that is failing. So it's not critical. So, well, is the adapter failing because of this warning? Hard to tell, but okay. So here you can see car scanner. We have some stats here with 99%, taking 4.4 kilowatt. Battery is at 15 to 17 degrees Celsius. We want to see if this battery overheats, because unlike the first gen Sol battery that is prone for some errors and degradation, this second gen is way better when it comes to that. It has a different chemistry, way more robust. So, all right, the plan is to drive. Yeah, okay, so that's the thing. To explain to you guys, there are a few places here where we have the native 200 amp CHAdeMOs, and then all the other places we just have the regular 125 amp, but there are some Delta chargers that uses 135 amp. So you get slightly more speed. So you're going to try to go for those and then also try to get to the 200 amp CHAdeMOs. So we're going to charge now a little bit more and then off we go. We are now at Circle K Storebø. So yeah, this is where it would matter to have the adapter if this was daytime. I do it at night because I don't want any slowdowns, but you see CCS all over the place, one CHAdeMO. What if someone was using that charger, right? Well, okay, dangerous angle. And then suddenly I wouldn't be able to charge here. So the adapter here would be great, yeah. But without the adapter now, we're just doing the not so efficient way, not the optimal way. But you can see here, yeah, it caps at 125 amps. And then voltage is not that high, but it should be flat. You're gonna see how flat this goes at least. So I don't know, I have probably about half an hour here. That means going to the restroom and stuff and don't have to stress too hard. But let's check something. How is it going on here? Yeah, you see there, 146 kilowatt. Well, welcome to 2017 charging speeds. We've been charging for 18.5 minutes. Look at that, flat charging curve all the way. It's just flat at 125 amp. This car can take more. We're gonna see later. Just stay tuned. It's gonna throttle probably at 75%, just like the smaller battery. Yeah. But then, okay, wait, so let me see. So even at this slow charging here, it still takes around 20 minutes, might possibly a little bit more. So the charging session will be around maybe 25 minutes. But on this initial run now, I checked that the trip meter reports 99.9 kilometers, but it's actually 96 kilometers. So the car overports by whopping 4%. So we had to count to 502 kilometers then.
And then also, when it comes to degradation, okay, the 9%, it's non-linear towards the end, it drops quite fast. So 9% I counted more like 7%. And then also I add 0.5 kilowatt hour hammer losses because it went schnell, at least outside of Oslo. So I estimate that we have 23.3 kilowatt hour net capacity only. And then many years ago, I tested and I got around 29 kilowatt hour. So we actually have 18% degradation, but the car has done almost 190,000 kilometers. So, I mean, it's still impressive, but I get the impression that the Ioniq battery is better. It's also from the Korean brother from another mother, but the Ioniq seems to be, I don't know, some kind of magic there. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. It throttled at 75%. So at this point, I want to fire up the heater. There. And you see here, battery fan status is 4. This car has only fans. The cooling is in the trunk there, and it dumps heat actually in the trunk. So, and the inlet is supposedly under the front seat here. You guys remember Valdemar from Elbilmek? He made this device so he can kind of control the, or actually put the, no, I don't remember how it was. Could I control it or just put it on max? Yeah, and he did some modification there. But now this is original. So fan speed is only 4. Eventually, once this hits 50 degrees Celsius, then it will rapid gate. But okay, I need to charge a little bit more because next stop, okay, let me show you here. 125 amp is nice, but at Sulli, which is no, around here, we have 135 amp delta charges. That would be great. Yeah, that's around 8% faster, right? So we could shave off a couple of minutes there, but we have to go to the turnaround point first, Schweinsund, around here, and then if you go to Sulli, that's whopping 80 kilometers loop. So I mean, as long as we're getting okay speed, then I just want to try to get over to that charger. Oh, we're down to 16 kilowatt. I think it's time to leave. 25-minute session. Yeah, I calculated if we get the 135 amp Chademo, we will save 2 minutes, 1.5 to 2 minutes. So it's not night and day. Well, okay, do I have enough now? Now the speed kind of plummets. 16 kilowatt. Oh, okay, time to leave. Well, we're back on the road. We actually charged to 85.5%. Hopefully that's enough. We have headwind now on the way south, and then we get the tailwind on the way north again. But yeah, so now it's interesting because you see that the battery fan status is 4, so it's now cooling down the battery. It will always do this if the battery is hot, right? And then this is kind of like a primitive heat scavenging because the heat is then dumped into the trunk. But here we hit the 110 limits, but I'm not sure if I should go schnell. Yeah, okay, whatever, let's go schnell. I'm not sure. I might not be able to reach that charge I want to reach because I have a budget of only 230 watt-hour per kilometer, and it seems like it is impossible with this boxy car. But if I go slower, then I also lose time by driving slower, right? So the car has nice flat charging curve, so we should just utilize it. Oh shit. We have 21 kilometers of range left. I'm not sure how much I can trust it, but we have 16% here. And I have to go slow now because we must drive 12 more kilometers. It's kind of scary now. Yeah, we have tailwind, but the road is wet, so it's consuming more. Man, the struggle is real. This battery has some degradation, so and also the Korean cars, they don't have linear state of charge. scale, so it drops faster towards the end. So I just have to make sure that I can make it to the next charger, because that's the only charger. Yeah, there is nothing in between here. I mean, we are in Norway, the charging network here is wonderful, but some places there are whopping 10 kilometers between them, you know, and for this car 10 kilometers is a lot. Oh shit. We are now at Sarpsborg. Kempower, yeah, fortunately there are enough CHAdeMOs here, but it's raining outside. This is the real deal. I got a bit wet, so I need to run the heater now while we are charging, so it steals a little bit of power, but it's not that much. These Korean cars, they're quite efficient there, but you see, I went deep, 4%, scary. Actually 4% here on the display here, on car's display. Actually on Kempower side it shows this as 3%. So I don't know how deep we can go with these old cars, so I might want to go down to 0%. Yeah, now you see, we have some foggy now, because now the water in me is evaporating, and then yeah, so I don't want to get any fog problems once we start driving, so sacrifice a little bit of that. And now we have another 25 minutes here, but let's see. So I'm going to try to time it so that we end up at Vinterbro, right, which is where's it? Okay, that's the 200 amp plug. That's going to be big. I want to see how fast we can charge there. All right, that's 68 kilometers away. And if you look at the previous year, so we were at 100 kilometers, and now, so we, okay, there's some error, but we drove around 70 kilometers. Oh shit, it means I need to charge to around 85% again. Well, I guess we sit and wait here in the rain, right? I'm not gonna go outside, man. Shit. Right, 75%, it's about to throttle. Yeah, there. Every time, bloop, just like the other battery, well, the upgraded Gen 1 battery, it also throttled at 75%. Okay, but see here, 49% degrees Celsius, it's supposed to replicate at 50 degrees. So I'll hodl for a little bit more. No, okay, now that it throttled there, what I'm gonna do is, let me check here, 44 kilowatt. You can see, can you see that? Oh shit, okay, it didn't work. Okay. 43 kilowatt reported on the Kempower. I'm gonna fire up the HVAC now. I need to get rid of the moisture before we leave. So if we can have a couple of minutes of de-moisturizing, that'd be great. So I think it should pull extra power from the charger. Yeah. But we're gonna leave soon and go for it. Okay, let me see. That was 28-minute charging stop. Oof. Well, interesting. This time the battery heated up to 50 degrees Celsius, but it didn't go hotter than that. But now that we start driving, you see the fan speed is at 8. I think 9 is the highest. So also you can see the low voltage power thingy. The fan pulls around 100 to 200 watts. So it wants to also conserve as many watts as possible. Yeah, why is it not running at maximum 9 all the time? Well, okay, but we see now, this time, how much will it cool down? Because now we need to drive, yeah, 68 kilometers, and we'll possibly charge quite fast on the next stop, so I don't want it to rapid gate. It's kind of funny, right? But these early Korean cars, they do actually rapid gate. We are now at Vinterbro. I'm going to show you, this is some ancient Japanese tech. Here, 200 amp CHAdeMO, one of the very few in Norway and Europe. We're getting 62 kilowatt hour per hour. Oh, Interesting. It has the same limit as the upgraded first gen battery, 172 amp. Okay, now we know what we can expect. Okay, but I'll show you something here. So the way it works is that cooling is sucked under the front seat there and then dumped in the trunk. So it's pointless to open the trunk like I did before. But what might actually help is here, you see, inlet is 21 degrees Celsius, 20. Okay, let me try something here. If I do this, well, especially very important on this side here. If I open this side, what is it? I think it should be sufficient. I have some bags and shit here. Like this-ish. Maybe also open here. Similar trick as Classic Ioniq, but Classic Ioniq has the inlet on the back seat here. If I do something like this, maybe I could even go full open here. You know? This should help. Because now we lower the internal temp. Wait, what was that? Click, click. Still working, right? I hope it doesn't interrupt anything. Yeah, okay, still working. Okay, so the speed should increase as the voltage increases. Wait, dude. 56, huh? No, that's average. Okay, as long as we take 172, that's good. 64 kilowatt. Okay, so it's not super great benefit. I have to calculate. You can see here. Oh yeah, it's working. It is working. 16 degrees in the inlet now. This is quite big. Outside temperature is 5 degrees Celsius. So if you let it cool down enough, inlet should be 5 degrees, and that's going to be big for cooling down the battery. Because, you know, liquid cooling is better because it has liquid has way better conductivity of heat versus air. But since we have air-cooled battery, then we just have to use all the ninja tricks. Like here, huh? Ancient Chinese secret. Well, the only problem is that it's getting cold in here. But no worries, because I have brought an extra storm bag jacket. This is the real challenge. Oh, look at this. It's starting to throttle now, mainly because it's rapid gating. But it's still charging faster than 125 amp, right? So, all right, but oh, look at this, 13 degrees. But it actually takes a while. It doesn't drop to 5 degrees, which is ambient temp. We're about to leave now. Oh, let me check then. How long did we charge? Oh, look at that, only 30 minutes. It feels a lot faster. Wow, look at that flat curve, like a bounce. Yeah. The e-Golf owners, they can just go home. Okay, so this time I'm not going to run HVAC. Let's hope I don't get any fogging problems now inside here, but I'll just keep heater off, because you see the fan speed is at 8, so it wants to cool down the battery. Wait, 51 degrees Celsius. Oh, look at the power limit, available power, only 56 kilowatt. Let me floor it. Oh, it's sluggish. It's like a TDI without the T. We have power gate here. Shit, man. Yeah, I mean, think about this. This Soul, and also, yeah, like these cars, like the Kia Soul and the Classic Ioniq, along with Leaf and e-Golf. Well, at least e-Golf and Leaf, they don't have thermal management at all. At least this car has some kind of thermal management. And these cars were developed 15 years ago, roughly. And they have quite primitive mechanism, right? Or no thermal management. And it still kind of works, right? But then compared to Tesla, Model S were also developed around that time, but Model S is just highly advanced with heat scavenging. It can take heat from the motor to heat up the battery. It has 6 kilowatt battery heater. It actually has battery insulation also for the European models. It came later, yeah, also US. What else is it? It has active cooling, liquid cooling. Yeah, well. But actually also the BMW i3 was quite advanced when it came out. Also liquid cool. Yeah. Okay. Now we're gonna see, oh, I see the temperature rises. We did let off a lot of heat when we stopped, but now I'm not going to open any windows. I'm not going to go too crazy. And now we see, now that we have to drive slower anyway, how the cooling will work for the next 10 minutes. We are now at Klofta. Second charging session with some okay speed. Oh yeah, so we start every time. We came a bit too much juice, but that's fine. We still want to get this charger. 64 kilowatt. Wait, there. Yeah, you see every time 173 amps, just like the other battery. Okay, so now it's actually a battle of heat. Just want to get rid of the heat, reject the heat as much as we can. So you just open the doors again. Yeah, inlet drops. Oh, look at that, it's 43 degrees. You want to keep it cool as long as possible. Yeah. Oh, wait, it seems like I have bad internet over here. Keeps dropping out on the live stream. Wow, look at this. We hit 76%, but it didn't throttle that much yet. Wow, because the battery is cooler now. Previously we hit 50 or 51 degrees Celsius, so... Huh? Look at this! Simply amazing! Next stop is going to be Shell Espa Bolleland, 60 kilometers away. And this time we charge for... Okay, now we throttle, okay. Now it's time to leave. 40 minutes again. Wow, okay, good to go. Let me show you guys the charging code. Look at this. Nice and flat. Well, back on the road. Huh, this is interesting because this door open hack made wonders for winter. So now the battery is cooler. Last time we ended up with 51 degrees Celsius. This time it's 50 degrees. So yeah, the trick is that I'm using a special setting on the HVAC, but I keep HVAC off right now. But eventually I use a setting where I can get heat for the windscreen only, not for the feet, because I want to keep the lower parts cold, whereas I still get okay comfort in the higher parts. So it's actually possible, but you have to press some buttons, actually using the defrost and then turn it down. Yeah, so it worked well in the previous run. Now we're gonna test on the next run also. Yeah, this is it. I cracked the code. I could have figured out this earlier maybe. Let me show you that there is a quite big difference here between the speed and the GPS speed. So it's 110 zone we are at. So I don't want to drive too fast. That's also one of the key things about this, to make it the cooling efficient. But you see, the physics here is that the cold air stays low, whereas the hot air rises. So we still have okay temperature here, and then it's actually cooling down way better than before. Previously we will have 23 degrees Celsius on the inlet. Now we have 18. That's big. That's 5 degrees Celsius difference. So it's actually cooling down way more efficient. And the trick is that I use seat heater, I use the steering wheel heater over here, so you get good comfort. And then the setting here seems to work great. It blows against the windscreen, so I don't get any fog there. And yeah, okay, it slowly rises here. Yeah, 18 degrees now. But we already cooled down to 46, which is pretty nice. So ideally I need to arrive with around 40 45 or below to get good speed. But don't have to be worried too much, because the next stop is going to be just a regular 125 amp session. So then the heat buildup is not that crazy high. Wow, the high beams here are pretty good. Huh? Not too bad for a almost 10-year-old car. And it's on almost 200,000 kilometers. You're about to hit 190k soon. And the car still feels nice and tight and comfy. Wow, this is really impressive. Okay, 18% degradation, that's kind of high-ish, but it still works fine. You still have good range, over 100 kilometers of range, even now during winter-ish. So, very impressive. Now we just need the range extender. Get a 17 kilowatt hour, that will be 40 kilowatt hour roughly. Oh, then it's gonna be game over. The only problem is that it will eat up some space. Well, we're now at Bolleland. I'm gonna get some food here, restroom break. But before I do that, I need to initially cool down the cabin. So I'm sacrificing my comfort to get the best starting speed. But okay, maybe I shouldn't leave the car like this, even though there is no one here at night, you know. Yeah, but I mean, I have camera equipment in here. So, but just do this for a couple of minutes, because this will not be the super fast charging session anyway. So, yes, we're back to Kempower. Oh yeah, 45 kilowatt. Yeah, let's see. So if we go to here, you can see that it's pulling 123 out of 125 amp. Yeah, all right. Alles good. So I'm just gonna check now. How long do I have to keep it like this before I go to the restroom and so on? See, it's not charging that fast. Just gonna go for 75% again anyway. Yeah, now inlet is 15 degrees. Yeah, oh, I feel the wind here also, so it's blowing through here and right into so ideally we need like an air duct here, you know. Maybe Valdeva can make it and then somehow channel it out of the window there or something like that. Yeah, so that we don't have to open up the whole car. But then it means that if you have a longer hose, then there'll be some friction there. But as long as the fan, the fan is now running at 6 only. But if the fan running, we can force the fan to 9 or 8, right? Then that should work, eh? Then we can actually get 5 degrees here. Where is this? Okay, I don't see the ambient, but it's around 5-6 degrees Celsius now. We can get that low temperature. Oh, now we're cooking. I'm gonna give Valdemar some more ideas here. I'm back. So we open the doors, but this has been working great in the previous stops also, which is that I don't have to open everything since it's only on the passenger side that we have the inlet, right? You can see here, once it starts sucking, then it should cool down slightly. So I can still have nice comfort here in the seat in my little corner there. And then as long as there's some airflow going into the seat, then it's fine. And look here, I asked the staff for hot buns. Which buns are the newly baked buns? And they said, yeah, all of them. I was like, oh yeah, some buns and some hot dog. Need something to keep me warm. Let me try this. Didn't want to go for the caramel, it's just too much sugar. This is still kind of sugary, but just want the freshness. Oh, you can almost see the steam coming out of it. Nice and fresh and warm. You can save that for later and then go for the hot dog with lumpe, that's what they call it. It started throttling 81% just to be sure. No big deal there. 20 minutes now. Okay, slightly slower than before, but okay, let's go. Wow, this must be the coolest run ever. 47 degrees. All right. What is outside temperature? 6 degrees outside, okay. So now we just cruise to the turnaround point, Rudshøgda. And then we see. So, as usual, I will cruise not too fast to avoid avoid too much heat buildup, because actually these Soul batteries, even the second gen here, they tend to heat up if you hammer it hard. Versus, for example, the e-Golf battery, which almost doesn't heat up, which means that the e-Golf has lower internal resistance than the Soul battery, or for example, a Leaf battery tends to be also similar. It heats up quite quickly. So, right, set on the manual cruise control. No, no adaptive cruise control here. And then we see. Okay, I mean, I could hammer harder, faster, but the disadvantage also is that it consumes more energy. And especially for a boxy car like this, then I think cruising around 115, 120 kilometers per hour might be optimal. Yeah, unless we have some cooling hacks. But that's kind of cheating, isn't it? All right, second to last charging stop. Oh yeah, 172 amp, 63 kilowatt. Nice and cool. We're gonna get a quite good charging session here. Well, let me see. Oh, I forgot how to fire up this. Yeah, and then the same setup. See that we have opened those doors and then this door here, but then I keep this door closed. See, we have okay comfort for me, but yeah. Same as every time now, 15 degrees in the battery inlet. Yeah, with a warm Stormbag jacket on and the beanie and everything. And of course also this is wool beanie and the Stormbag wool gloves. Then we actually have pretty good comfort here. Anything I do for the best charging speed. Oh yeah. Yeah, the Rudshøgda is only 4 degrees Celsius. Right, 47 degrees. Inlet is 12 degrees now because it's 4 degrees outside. So this got me thinking. Maybe someone could make a little accessory. It's just a passive thing, okay? It's not crazy as the thing that Valdemar made, but it needs to be a pipe or something that you, I don't know, connect it there if it's possible. And then you have this hose, right, that goes to the top of the window there. So you have to crack open the window, dangerous position, and then you poke it there. So in winter, it would be wonderful. If it's minus 10 degrees outside, you might get, I don't know, minus 5. It's crazy, right? But that hose needs to be insulated because you don't want to pick up too much heat on the way in here. But it also works in summer, because in summer, if you're just locked with a car, it might heat up to 40 degrees here, right? Eventually, if it stands in the sun. But then outside might be 20, 25 degrees only. And it should also work with classic Ioniq. You just have to have a different mouthpiece that you put here, right? And then you channel it, I don't know, back there or something. And the same thing with classic Ioniq. I've seen it before, I experienced it before. On hot days, it will get quite hot in the cabin if no one is here, right? So yeah, maybe someone could make that adapter thingy. Just gonna pay attention here. Wow, look at that. So I will stay here as long as the amp here is more than 125. So then we need one more charging stop. When it comes to distance error, yeah, it's 4%. So we have to count to 420, so we need to drive another 100 kilometers. That means a little bit past Ioniq. From here to Ioniq is 92, so 10 kilometers. Yeah, so we count down around 5 kilometers before we end up at home. So I'll probably just go back to Espa, charge up there, and then we finish the challenge. Okay, wow, this time we charged 14 minutes, all the way to 83%. But now I'm gonna do a slightly different approach, because now I will hammer it. So I'm not gonna go just 7 over the speed limit. It goes a little bit faster, barely legal, that's my middle name, you know? And then see what happens. Okay, go schnell, go schnell. So yeah, you see, it's only 49 degrees Celsius. Wow, it's amazing, right? This hack here. Okay, all good. Now let's hammer it. Let's hope we don't have any people in front of us. All right, this is the last stop. We arrived at 47 degrees and then it cooled down to 46. So the hammering did actually keep the battery slightly warmer, but you know, I think that's no problem, because as long as we are not charging at the 200 amp CHAdeMOs, then the speed is kind of low anyway, right? And then as long as it's cold outside, then we can just open up and then it's fine. Only problem is that I need to wait here around 5 minutes to cool down the cabin, and then I close everything, then I go to the toilet and then we come back. So yeah, we just don't want this to hit 50 degrees Celsius. Well, I went to the restroom, came back. This time I can keep the doors closed because this is a final leg, and you see it actually stayed cool enough. So even though I closed the door when I was in the restroom, it stayed cool, 16 degrees Celsius. As long as, wait, I was about to say, as long as we don't rapid gate, but trying to understand what the heck is going on here. Why are we not getting 125 amp? Huh? Let me go check something here. The Kempower charger claims that the vehicle is limiting it. Hey, wait, it is pulling 123 here. No. Maybe they... No, okay, or... let me see, click here again. It is pulling 122. Maybe it's with the heater. Yeah, I forgot. Okay, let me just check here. Is the heater running? No, heater is off. No, the thing I'm hearing is the fan in the back there. So it's just doing some heat scavenging right now. Yeah, okay, all good. So I can actually have for the last leg now, for the last half an hour or so, or actually, yeah, I can have some comfort and actually have some okay temperature in the cabin. Oh, all right, let's finish this. Well, we're at 69%, 70%. All right, good to go soon. Gonna go 75. Now I can fire up auto and then actually get some heat and some comfort for once. 22 degrees. See, climate auto will just do this for the best comfort, but this is bad by default because it puts heat towards the feet, which is here. So we will also see on the last leg now. I'm gonna disconnect soon. It shouldn't rapid gate. Once this goes up, will we stay at 50 degrees then? Will we 999? Right, 4999. All right, final run. Now it's 6:30 in the morning and the roads are getting busy because all the office rats are going towards town. Oh shit. Yeah, the early bird started already 5 in the morning. But yeah, so the way we count time is that we take current time plus 26 minutes. That is the 500 kilometer time. So we are already almost at 7 hours. Can we beat the smaller, or I mean the whatever I should call it, the upgraded Gen 1 battery, you know, the one that is upgraded on warranty? We'll see. We shall see. Well, let's do the countdown. 4991, 4992, 4993, 4994, 4995, 4996, 4997, 4998, 4999, 500, time 650, which means 7 hours and 15 minutes. Whoa! It was slower than the other battery, upgraded battery, and then consumption was
237 before correction. That's roughly 250. Oh shit. Well, it was colder though. Yeah, that's true. And it was also wet many places. So okay, and well, okay, but I arrived with 19%. Did I charge a little bit too much? But it doesn't take 5 minutes to get 10%. So yeah, you could probably shave off I don't know, 2-3 minutes if I went a little bit deeper. Didn't go to 75, but let's say 70% or 69%. Okay, anyway, let's go home now. Oh yeah, by the way, battery is at 48 degrees. Huh? It's not that hot. Wow. Okay, maybe I could have had the heater on then. Maybe the most important thing was when I was charging. Okay, now it bugs me about low battery. Maybe the most important thing was to, while I'm charging, then I open the doors. Yeah, to not generate too much heat. So this is actually the fifth fastest run. But the other souls there, well, what's up with them? Well, they have the upgraded battery. And for some reason the adapter worked, and it was also warmer. And the i3 was also on a warmer run, but the i3 has liquid cooled battery, so that helps. It doesn't replicate. And then Ioniq just kicks ass for the Lord. But this makes me wonder, if I use the same cooling hack for the Ioniq, can I then make it even faster? Maybe just a little bit, because the Ioniq is already quite fast. Yeah, it's efficient, you know. So the replicate, maybe you just lose a couple of minutes. Maybe total is just 5 minutes faster. So it's probably not worth the time. But you see, this is interesting because I was expecting maybe, I don't know, 27 kilowatt hour from this battery, but it was only around 23, 24 kilowatt hour. So which means that if you go for the first gen Soul, the 27 kilowatt hour Soul, and you can buy one second hand with the upgraded battery, if you're lucky to get the battery upgrade, that's the winning the jackpot. Because when I'm sitting in this 30 kilowatt hour Soul, I don't really see and feel anything different. I used to drive around with that other Soul, first gen Soul, a lot, you know. So it doesn't seem like they have improved anything else than just the battery. And okay, this car has almost 200k or 190k on the odometer, so it's kind of degraded, right? But even if you can get, let's say, this generation, second gen, that has 80 to 100k, it should still have some degradation, which means that you could just try to get a cheaper first gen with the replaced battery. Yeah, and then it's just win-win, and you get roughly 24 kilowatt hour from the battery. So, and it charges actually the same speed. I was hoping that this battery will charge faster. The whole 100 kilowatt on CHAdeMO, no, I don't think so. Maybe it was just 65 kilowatt from the start anyway. Maybe they claim 100 kilowatt CHAdeMO charger, just like, you know, sneaky in the old days. Hyundai, they claim that the Kona supports 100 kilowatt chargers, kind of sneaky. Yeah, but it couldn't charge at 100 kilowatt. It would peak at around 75 kilowatt, right? 72, 75, right? So you could say, Tesla supports 400 kilowatt chargers. But overall, though, it is a nice car. I love it. I like it, you know. I still believe that Soul is one of the best bang for the bucks. You have 32 amp onboard charger, quite fast onboard charger, plenty of space, good comfort, you know, active cooling of the battery, unlike the e-Golf, and actually quite big battery. So there are many things I like about the Soul. So highly recommended, both of these, the first and the second gen Soul, but stay away from the first gen Soul that has degraded battery, or if people are trying to sell some and they say, yeah, it has degraded range, just stay away from them unless you want to spend extra money to get it repaired. But even if you try to get it repaired, it's not going to be that great. So it's going to be similar to that Frankenstein, that leaf that Valdemar fixed. It's like you might be able to recover maybe 0.5 kilowatt hours. So it's better to just get a full replacement on the battery instead. So that's going to be it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching, and talk to you later.